It's very human nature for people to want what they can't have. But why is it? And how can we use that to our benefit? So we're going to be reading off of The Laws of Human Nature. This is off of the book club series that we have on Patreon. Go on Patreon to join the book club. And we're going to be reading it like this with the book, and then we're going to read it off of the screen. You guys let me know which one you guys prefer the most, okay? At the end of it. I would really like that you guys help me out with that. And don't forget, subscribe to my second channel for women. If you're a woman watching it, we're gonna start making videos there, for the simple being that YouTube seems to promote, I don't know how, those videos compared to the subscribers that I have more than on this channel. What the fuck is going on? I don't know, people, but transfer to Mindful Attraction archives, because over the next year we might just end up making more videos there than here, because YouTube just doesn't seem to like this channel. Let me stop complaining, man. So subscribe now if you really want, because YouTube may stop showing you my videos. So please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment on this video so that YouTube can spread out my videos more. So let's read. Let's first have a sip of. By nature, we humans are not easily contented with our circumstance, right? This is going to explain why we want what we can't have, and why we don't want what we have. And this goes for both sexes. By some perverse force within us, the moment we possess something or get what we want, our mind begins to drift towards something new and different, to imagine we can have better. And usually the more ambitious you are as a person, the more this is something. And the problem with this is that sometimes this means that this is chronic in some people, and some people just cannot appreciate what they have, so they end up cheating, right? The more distant and unattainable this object, the greater is our desire to have it. We call this the grass is always greener syndrome, the psychological equivalent of an optical illusion. If we get too close to the grass, to that new object, we see that it's not really so green after all. This syndrome has very deep roots in our nature. In all of these cases, if we get closer to the people we envy, to the supposed happy family, to the other man or woman we covet, to the exotic natives in the culture we wish to know, to that better job, to that utopia, to more views, we will see through the illusion. And often when we act out on these desires, we realize this is our disappointment, but it doesn't change our behavior. The next object glittering in our distance, the next exotic cult or get-rich-quick scheme would inevitably seduce us. One of the most striking examples of this syndrome is the view we take on our childhood as it recedes into the past. Most of us remember a golden time of play and excitement. As we get older, it becomes even more golden in our memory. Of course, we conveniently forget the anxieties, insecurities, and hurts that plagued us in our childhood, and more than likely consumed more of our mental space than the fleeting pleasures we remember. That's actually so true. And this explains why when you fucked up, when you were too needy and creepy and you pushed them away, sometimes absence can help them forget the needy things you did that got them to push you away. They'll forget why they got turned off by you. But all you have to do is give them space, give them distance, and time will literally make them forget. But because our youth is an object that grows more distant as we age, we are able to idolize and see it as greater than green. Exactly. Such a syndrome can be explained by three qualities of the human brain. The first is known as induction, how something positive generates a contrasting image in our mind, right? A contrasting negative image in our mind. This is most obvious in our visual system. When we see some color, red or black, for instance, it tends to intensify our perception of the opposite color around us. It's actually very true. In this case, green or white As we look at the red object, we often see green halo forming around it. In general, the mind operates by contrast. We are able to formulate concepts about something by becoming aware of its opposite. The brain is continually dredging up these contrasts. What this means is that whenever we see or imagine something, our minds cannot help but see or imagine the opposite. If we are forbidden by our culture to think of a particular thought or entertain a particular desire, that taboo instantly brings to mind the very thing we are forbidden. Every no sparks a corresponding yes. We cannot control this vacillation in the mind between contrasts. This predisposes us to think about and desire exactly what we do not have. So if what's around you is boring and sad and depressing, the brain then will start to imagine its opposite. If they're bored of their partners, and this is actually really true. I remember I was with this girl many years ago, and this was in my toxic era, and she was a beautiful girl. I mean, Lord have mercy. But you know what happened? Towards the end of the relationship, we stopped talking. But I remember observing women that looked the opposite of her. Like, I never did nothing. I never cheated, but like I always looked, and for some reason I was always like, my eyes was drawn to women that looked the opposite of her. It's crazy. So if she had a big ass, I would gravitate towards women with more slim figures. If she was light skinned, I would gravitate towards the dark skin. Like, you just go towards the opposite, right? And this is why when people see you and you say no to them, when you say no, I can't be with you, it automatically it causes them to respond in the opposite, which is wanting you. The no causes them to want a yes from you, right? Let's keep reading. Let's read to the second, complacency. Oh shit, sorry people. Oh shit, where am I? Okay, I am. This is the last thing that I needed. Okay. Second, right here, complacency. Right here, okay. Second, complacency would be a dangerous evolutionary trait for conscious animals such as the human. If our early ancestors had been prone to feeling content with the present circumstance, they would not have been sensitive enough to possible dangers that lurked in the apparently safe environment. We survived and thrived through our continual conscious alertness, which predisposed us to thinking and imagining the possible negatives in any circumstance. We no longer live in savannas or forests teeming with life-threatening predators and natural dangers, but our brains are wired as if we were. We are inclined, therefore, towards a continual negative bias, which often consciously is expressed through complaining and griping. Finally, what is real and what is imagined are both experienced similarly in the brain. This has been demonstrated through various experiments in which objects who imagine something produce electrical and chemical activity in the brain that is remarkably similar to when they actually live out what they are imagining. All of this is shown through functional MRI. Reality can be quite harsh and is full of limits and problems. We all must die. Every day we get older, less strong. To become successful requires sacrifice and hard work. But in our imagination, we can voyage beyond these limits and entertain all kinds of possibilities. Our imagination is often limitless. And what we imagine has almost the force as if we actually experience. And so we become creatures who are continually prone to imagining something better than our current circumstance and feeling some pleasure in the release from reality that our imagination brings us. All of this makes the grass is always greener syndrome inevitable in our psychological makeup. We should not moralize or complain about this possible flaw in human nature. It is a part of the mental life of each one of us, and it has many benefits. It is a source of our abilities to think of new possibilities and innovate. It is what made us, it is what made our imagination such a powerful instrument. And on the flip side, it is the material for which we can move, and excite and seduce. Knowing how to work on people's natural covetousness is a timeless art that we depend on for all forms of persuasion. Remember, what they can't have, they want it more. And the more you make them wait, the more intense the fantasies in your absence. The problem we face it is not that people have suddenly stopped coveting, but quite the opposite. That we are losing our connection to this art and the power that comes with it. We see evidence of this in our culture. We live in an age of bombardment and saturation. Advertisers blanket us with their messages and brand presence, directing us here and there to click or buy. Movies, right? Let's go right here. We see evidence. Okay, so to understand, people may point to all of this as evidence that we humans are becoming more honest and truthful. But human nature does not change within a few generations. People have become more obvious and forthright, not out of some deep moral calling, but out of increased self-absorption and overall laziness, and they can't control their emotions. It requires no effort to simply be oneself or to blast one's message. And the lack of effort simply results in lack of effect on other people's psychology. It means that people's interest in you will be paper thin. Is that what I'm doing with my other channel? Oh, Lord. Their attention will quickly move on. Oh, Lord. And you will see the other reason for this. Do not swallow the easy moralism of the day. Oh, I got to start manipulating you guys. Which urges honesty at the expense of desirability. Go in the opposite direction. With so few people out there who understand the art of desirability, it affords you endless opportunities to shine and exploit people's repressed fantasies. And so this understanding is something that we all have access to this. It's just that people are lazy. For example, in the book, it talks about how it's all about giving people space, more space than necessary, knowing when to withdraw, right? Pulling away every now and then, okay? Creating rivalries, meaning making people fight for you, right? Letting people know that there's competition. Letting people know there's competition, using absence, and what else? Let me make sure I didn't. And he does talk about induction. We may think we live in a time of great freedom. Oh my God, Father Alex can't read. Compared to the past. But in fact, we live in a world that is more regulated than ever before. Our every move is followed digitally. There are more laws than ever governing all aspects of our behavior. Political correctness, which has always existed, can be intense because of how visible we have become with our social media. Secretly, most of us feel bothered and crushed by all of this constraint in our physical and mental movement. We yearn for what is transgressive, beyond the limits that we set for us. We can easily be pulled towards that repressed knowing, yes. You want to associate your objects with something ever slightly illicit, unconventional, or politically advanced. For example, the toxic dating coach, or Shira 7, or following Donald Trump. Not anymore, but before Donald Trump was considered more like illicit and like unpopular or secret Trump supporter. So that made his movement even more illicit. Or like the dark tactics to make somebody love you, right? Chanel did this with her overt androgynous appeal and flouting gender roles. The fight between generations is always right for material for this. What you offer is bold contrast to this stodgy previous generation. One illicit desire that people all have is voyeurism. To peek inside the private lives of others violates strict social taboos. You can incorporate this into your work by giving the impression that you are revealing secrets that should not be shared. Finally, dangling in front of people the prospect of grasping the unattainable or the impossible. Life is full of all kinds of irritating limits and difficulties. To become wealthy or successful requires great effort. Your object, however, offers the fantasy of quick paths towards wealth and success, of recovering youth, of becoming a new person, or even conquering death. By the law of induction, we can imagine all sorts of shortcuts and fantasies, which gives us the desire to reach them, imagining them almost like you are experiencing yourself. Oh, this is dark. Yeah, this is. Remember, it's not possession, but desire that secretly impels people. To possess something inevitably brings about some disappointment and sparks the desire for something new to pursue. You are preying upon the human need for fantasy and the pleasures of chasing after them. In this sense, your efforts must be continually renewed. Once people get what they want or possess you, your value and your respect for you immediately begins to lower. Keep withdrawing, surprising, and stimulating the chase. As long as you do, you have the power. Oh, Lord. I'm just thinking about my channel. How the fuck did I do that, people? Did I lose that aura? I think I did. I think possibly I told you guys everything that I needed to know. I should have learned from power. I should have just being a little bit more sneaky about it, right? But this is how it works, right? And you got to understand, this is not about how to make somebody love you. It's really about making somebody desire you so that you could sell them something or gain something from them. To make somebody love you with this is not going to work. It has to be something genuine. It has to be accidental, actually. Anyways, man, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys want me, let me know which one you guys prefer. Do you guys prefer reading from here? Or do you guys prefer from the screen where you guys can see and follow along? You guys let me know in the comment section down below. And join the Patreon to get more of these videos. Are you needy and creepy? Do you have a tough time coming across confident when you like the person? A lot of the times you just don't know what to do. You have habits and patterns that whenever somebody triggers you, you completely forget what to do the right thing. Well, guess what? I have a course for that. And it's called The Psychological Game of Attraction, Natural Chemistry, and The Feminine Woman, what I call the fundamentals. All of those courses are meant to eradicate and exercise the needy, creepy parts in you through action. Meaning, you do what the videos say, and without a shadow of a doubt, you actually get the results. You'll notice that men call you back more. Men will want more relationships with you. They're gonna be the ones that are needy and creepy. They're gonna be the ones that want something. They're gonna be the ones that are the aggressors in trying to get a relationship out of you. But the problem is that a lot of people just watch one or two videos and completely forget that there's actually a system. Don't just watch one or two videos. Get the system either by purchasing all of them and get a discount, or purchase them individually. Because a lot of the times, just watching one video in isolation, you actually miss the big picture. You have to understand why it works. You have to understand what to do next. And a lot of times, my videos just can't address that. A lot of people, you'll see by the testimonies right here, a lot of people have done what those videos say, and they've gotten results. Like the other day, I was in Mexico, and they were like, "Hey, Alexis," and I'm like, "Hey, oh my God, your videos are so great." And I'm like, and she was like, "Look at my kid." I'm like, what you talk about your kid? That's not my kid. She's like, no, because of him, because of your videos, he's here. And I'm like, okay, all right, that's a thing. But I get that a lot. And ironically, that woman watches all of my videos, right? So purchase those courses, man. And if you don't like it, you actually could get a 30-day money-back guarantee, right? Purchase them individually, or get a discount and purchase them all by clicking on the description down below. You have the option of purchasing the one with the bonuses, that obviously it's more material, where it's like I give you guys meditations. There's also other courses on how to make friends, how to master anything. Or you could purchase it without the bundle, which is much more affordable. All right. And with that, you guys are able to support my channel, which will allow me to make more videos. Okay. Anyways, see you guys inside, and thank you.